It's Farrell with Crowd Surfing down here at Union Station in Ogden, waiting for the arrival of the Union Pacific 4014 Big Boy. Great big giant steam train. It's being pulled from the West Coast all the way to Cheyenne, Wyoming for restoration. Stopping here in Ogden, so let's take a look around, talk to a few people, and find out what it's all about. Alrighty, I am here with the world famous Tracy from Union Station.
Hello, nice to be here.
Can you tell me a little bit about what's going on today?
Yeah, today one of the largest steam trains ever built they were built to run out of Ogden up to Wyoming because it's so steep, called the nickname the Big Boy, the 4014, is being moved by Union Pacific. It's going to come visit here at the station for a few days, and they're taking it to Cheyenne to restore it so that it can run on its own steam, probably within the next 5 years.
Alrighty, I am here with...
I'm Pat Snyder.
And Don.
Can you tell me a little bit about why you come down here today?
That's the reason right there.
That big train?
Yeah.
You betcha.
We were here for the other trains that came in before, too.
The steam one, right? The one that actually worked.
Yeah.
Alrighty, I'm here with...
Bob Geyer.
Roberta Beverly.
And can you guys tell me a little bit about what's happening here today?
Well, this is one of the biggest events for at least the railroad historical viewpoint in Ogden's history, at least in the last 50 years. This is a return of the Big Boy to where it historically had run.
Can you tell me a little bit about what you know about the Big Boy?
Yeah, the Big Boy is one of the largest steam trains ever built. It has a wheel configuration of 4884, so at 4 little wheels in the front, it articulates the front so it can make the turns because it's such a long locomotive. And then it has 8 more drivers, and then 4 wheels in the back. And that's on the main locomotive.
So have you been to a museum or any place where they have one of these on display?
Yeah, I've been to several now, including Steamtown back in Pennsylvania. There's only 8 of them left, where at one time there was, 25, Roberta?
Right, 25.
So, yeah, this is really incredible. And it was meant to run just from here up to Evanston.
But I prefer Rio Grande.
Oh, yeah, and what makes Rio Grande better than Union Pacific? We're going to have a political debate. I'm so excited.
Because they go through beautiful country down there, Green River, and then over to Colorado.
Union Pacific don't go through that?
I don't think so.
You don't think the desert's a beautiful country?
Oh, yeah, I love it. We're going to be there tomorrow. We're going to Green River.
Oh, very good.
It is originally coal-driven, but it would start little fires along the road. So Union Pacific has acquired it from Los Angeles, and they're going to move it they're moving it to Cheyenne. We're a stop on the way to that. And they're going to convert it to oil and start letting it drive again, restore it.
So they were, I guess, stationed here, for lack of a better term. Is this where all of them were at?
No, they ran back and forth between Ogden and Evanston. Basically, Wasatch, which was just below Evanston, was the main reason why they ran this big locomotive.
But they didn't do trips like, say, from here to Sacramento.
No, they went from Ogden to Cheyenne.
So I'm at a total loss now. I was excited for a political debate. I think the desert's pretty. No, but anyway, I think it's great. So, what's the draw? You guys big train enthusiasts? Is there?
Trains. They got a beautiful yard in just out of Denver too.
Oh, really? Union Pacific does? Rio
Grande.
Rio Grande. Sorry, not trying to insult you on purpose. Okay.
We're not going to show this at all because of competition.
Absolutely, we're going to show everything. We're not scared of competition. Okay. We're not one bit scared of that. Because we all know Union Pacific's the best, right?
Well, I like Union Pacific, sure.
So you said they were originally designed to go from Ogden to Cheyenne?
Yeah, up through Wyoming. I can't remember exactly where in Wyoming, but the grade is so steep that they needed a really powerful locomotive to pull the freight and the passenger cars up the grade up Wasatch.
Where did they build it at? Do you know?
I do not.
In a train factory?
They built them in a train factory in my backyard.
A steam train factory.
They did. I don't know. I think it's an American steam works or something engine. I think that's what it says on the side of it.
Alrighty, well, you're obviously busy, so I'll let you go, but thanks for talking with me.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So purposely built just for that little trip.
Yeah, specifically for that grade. They were huge, it's a big boy. And they were made specifically for that grade going up through the Wasatch Front and to haul the heavy freight. And they were built in 1941 and ran till 62, 63, somewhere in there. Like I said, logged over 1 million miles just between here and there.
That's a lot of trips back and forth. Probably 3 or 4 at least.
Yeah, at least.
One question for you real quick. What do these run on, unleaded or leaded?
Diesel.
Alrighty, well, that says. Do you think they have trouble finding a gas station out in the middle of nowhere, though? I mean,
Oh, wow.
Especially if you're in Green River. You ever go to Green River, Utah?
no, I ain't never been there.
We're crying out loud.
There's nothing there for me.
Yeah.
4-wheel.
No, I can't afford it.
Oh, come on.
You know what? You know what'd be the great thing about a gas station, though? The little rubber hose you run over that dings.
Yeah.
Those wheels would probably cut it right in half.
Oh, most definitely.
Alrighty, guys, thank you for talking with me.
Thank you.
Alrighty, I am here with.
My name's Lee Hickman. This is my wife, Barbara.
And can you tell me, how'd you guys luck out to get the perfect spot to sit? You guys were here before anybody. Did you know this is where they were going to park?
No, we didn't. We just parked ourselves here.
You just got lucky and got the right spot, huh?
That's true.
The reason why this train is coming and going through all this extra effort to come to Ogden is because the Union Pacific people know Ogden is special. This is the best, this is the home for their stop. And now they're going the rest of the way.
Very good. They just need to keep it here all the time.
They could have.
Alrighty, I'm here with.
Rod Brewer.
And can you tell me a little bit about what you're doing down here today?
Well, I'm from Denver, Colorado, and ever since I was a little boy, my dad's from Ogden, Utah, and he used to talk about the big boy trains. In Denver, there's a museum called the Forney Museum, and they have a big boy inside on display, and I've been really excited to come to Ogden and see this come through, and I'm excited to see it get restored and on the tracks again. It'll be great.
You guys were the first people here. You're sitting in chairs. What is the significance of the big boy for you guys to come out here so early and see it?
1940 was during the war years, and I remember as a child seeing these things come through Salt Lake, pulling troop trains and freight trains. They were mighty powerful. They'd pull 100 cars. They were big.
Alrighty, I'm here with.
Charlie Trentleman.
And can you tell me a little bit about why you're down here today?
I'm on the Union Station Board of Directors, and I'm also in the archive. I work in the library here at Union Station, and so this represents a huge part of Ogden's history, huge part of Union Station's history, and quite frankly, we'd like to put some welding underneath the wheels and keep this thing here.
Yeah, that would be nice to keep it here. Are you going to come back when it's restored and check it out, right?
Yeah, it'll be in Cheyenne, of course, and I'll probably go up there in 5 years.
Oh, no, you got to come to Ogden. Cheyenne's no good.
I don't know if it'll come through Ogden again, but they're going to run it between Denver, Ogden, or I mean Denver and Cheyenne for the Frontier Days, and it's really exciting. I've been on rides with the UP Challenger and the 844 that's over there.
And it's huge. Holy smokes. Do you remember it being this big, or does it seem like it's bigger now than when you were a kid?
I remember it being this big. It was pretty good size, and boy, they put out a lot of smoke and steam.
I bet.
Noise.
I can't wait for them to get it restored and bring it back. I imagine that'll be quite a sight to see.
It will.
Alrighty, guys. Well, hey, I'll let you get back to enjoying the train, but I thank you for your time. I really appreciate it.
That's all right. Thank you.
We've got plans to bring in a cardboard mock-up and put it here. They'll take that to Wyoming and fix it up later.
No one will notice till the wind blows.
Nobody will notice it at all, yeah. No, we're very excited about this. This is a huge part of Ogden's history here. In fact, there's a guy here whose grandfather ran this station, or his engine, to Ogden back in the 50s. And so just so much history involved here, and that's why I'm down here today.
And I'm just a big fan of trains. I collect the model Lionels and everything, and love the Union Station and the history here.
Yeah, the 844 was here a couple of years ago, and we come down here, and that's cool with the steam going everywhere, and they're so big and heavy they shake the ground. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's a lot of power. These steam trains are something else when they're firing up.
Alrighty, well, hey, I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Very much. Enjoy your stay.
Ready? Alrighty, I'm here with.
Ed Dickens.
And Ed, I think last time I talked to you a couple years ago, and you'd brought a steam train in here before, correct?
Yeah, that's right. We had the 844 in here last time. About half the size of this one.
This thing is huge. So are you going to drive it? Is that what an engineer does, drive the train?
Well, before we can do that, it has to undergo a multi-year restoration process. The staff and I have spent many months down at the LA County Fairgrounds where the locomotive is at for over 52 years. And we've got all the mechanical systems on the locomotive up and running well. And we've been traveling, just having a really good time. Amazing crowds. It's been like this everywhere we've been. It's truly heartwarming and inspiring for us, and it makes all those long, hard days. It makes it actually makes it quite enjoyable.
Being on the board of directors, you get a little leverage. You can probably get this train to come back once they got it restored, right?
We're good. We're definitely going to try. We're very nice to the train crew when they come to Ogden. We're throwing them a dinner tomorrow night, and they're very good friends of ours.
So
we're trying.
So you kind of figure they're like strays. If you feed them, they'll come back.
Exactly so, yes.
All righty, well, I appreciate your time. Thank you for talking with me.
Thank you. Yeah.
I am here with
Scott Pittman.
Donna Pittman.
Race Pulver, Ariana Pulver.
And this is
Strider, and you guys were just telling me that you do something with the trains in Promontory?
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
We're both volunteers out at Golden Spike National Historic Site, and we are firemen on the two locomotives there, 119 and Jupiter.
Alrighty, I am here with
Jeff Craw.
And can you tell me a little bit about why you come down here today?
Well, I wanted to see the train that my grandpa was with when they retired this train in 1962. This particular picture was taken in Wyoming on its last leg to California to be put on display.
So is this the same train that's right behind us now?
Same train, the 4014.
I was going to say it had to be quite a feat just to get it to the point where you could put it on the tracks and run it back to Cheyenne.
Well, it was sitting on tracks, actually some very small rail, and it was in this museum forever. And so we worked on it quite a bit. Then we did move it back, and we got underneath it. We couldn't even get underneath it. That's how cramped it was at that museum. So we had to move it back about 300 feet or so, and then we could get underneath it. And then there was a whole work scope that we had to undertake just to get that part of it done. Cleaning all the oil, cleaning the roller bearings, putting fresh oil in there, inspecting all the brake rigging and all of the underside components.
Fireman, I'm thinking, puts out a fire.
We make the fire.
You make the fire. So you're an anti-fireman.
Kind of.
You're like the fireman freedom fighter. It's just the opposite.
Yeah, something like that.
And so how long have you been doing that for?
About 8 or 9 years we've been out there.
And how'd you fall into a gig like that?
I'm kind of a train guy. Old cars, old trains. And went out there. I knew they had a need for some of my skills and went out and we signed up to volunteer. Well, I did for the first year, and
we do things together.
Yeah, we do things together. So the second year, Donna came out with me, and it's just progressed from there. We got hooked.
And this is another picture of that same train outside of Modena on the way to Caliente.
So your grandfather was the last person to drive this to California, or?
I don't know if he was the last. He was one of them to take it partway across Wyoming.
So did he ever tell you any good stories about?
Yeah, he told me how fast it would go.
How fast can it go?
At 110 miles an hour.
No way. Train this big?
Yep,
Holy
absolutely.
smokes.
Yeah, that's amazing, isn't it?
On this locomotive, because of its size, it's very, very compressed under there. And it's got all the machinery that the 844 has, but it's all compressed. It's just amazing. There's not a lot of room to work under there. We actually had to disassemble some of the brake rigging just so we could get in there to access some of those inspection plugs on the roller bearings and get up in there and replace grease fittings and lubrication lines and all of the things that have to be done when you're going to move a 73-year-old steam locomotive 1,300 miles.
So, question of the day, what do these run on, unleaded or regular?
The Jupiter, they both run on the fuels they were
do the wood. I'm
designed
the wood
to 140 some years ago. The Jupiter burns wood, and the 119 burns coal, just like they did back in the day.
And
Very
she'll be
nice.
a coal burner, as far as we know. They'll put her back to original, the big boy. And as far as they know, she'll be running coal, which is a
It
whole lot
should.
more than a half a ton a day that we do.
Yeah.
I bet. All righty, guys. Well, I appreciate your time. Thank you for talking with me.
Thanks.
We love it.
But, yeah, a lot of railroad history. I still have relatives on the UP.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He was based out of Milford, Utah. He drove a lot of trains up through Helper, up into Oregon, lots of places. So.
All right, very well. Well, hey, thank you. I really appreciate your time. Do you have a point where you got everything done? You're like, right on, let's get it going. And you're like, oh, wait a minute, we forgot something.
Well, there's all kinds of little details, and things are prioritized. And the most important things that absolutely must be done, all those critical inspections and lubrications and making sure that everything is going to work safely, correctly. And then there's just never-ending list of little chores, what we call our busy work. And that's cleaning off the years of dust and grime that is present on any steam locomotive.
Yeah, how am I going to explain this to my wife that I was working at the house and cleaning up the house? I can't do that.
Well,
I'm down here seeing a train.
No one watches this show anyway, so you're all right. Okay. Alrighty.
Got to see all my relatives too, which is good.
Can I get your name real quick?
David Peterson, O-N. I'm a Viking.
A Viking?
Viking, yes.
Where's your helmet with the horns on it?
No, I'm stubborn, that's all.
Oh, is that what it is?
That's, yeah, the German part in me.
You're no slave to fashion.
This is one gorgeous train.
I was saying, do you come down specifically for this, or did you just see a crowd here at Union Station?
I called my relatives. They were here. I said, stay put. I'm not going to shave. I'm going to come down and see the train. Thank you, Cole.
Not even going to do any housework, huh?
No.
Not going to mow the lawn or pull any weeds?
Did that yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well, imagine when the steam locomotive goes into a museum after operating for its life. It's just coated with oil, and that oil gets thick and covered with dust, and pretty soon it becomes this encapsulated rock that has to be literally chiseled off by hand. So we went through just weeks of chiseling, and you could see where the locomotive sat, because it left a small little dust trail everywhere we had worked on it. So it was really neat. I've got some neat pictures of the outline of the railroad track with that dust.
Alrighty, I'm here with
Lee Whitten.
And Lee, somebody told me you know more about everything than anybody. Is there any truth to that?
I'm a walking encyclopedia.
All right. So can you tell me a little bit about what you're doing down here today?
Well, this is very emotional for me because my dad was a conductor for Union Pacific, and he took one of the first big boys out of Ogden. He didn't take it himself because he wasn't on the engine. He was in the caboose, but he was in charge of the train.
All right. Question of the day is, have you ever ridden on a train?
Yes, I have.
And what train would that be?
Well, the front runner, and I also went clear back east to St. Louis on a train on a track and loved it.
A train on a track as opposed to a train on water?
Yeah. Don't confuse me. I'm 77 and the brain's going.
I understand.
Okay.
All righty. Well, I appreciate your time. Thank you for talking with me.
Thank you. It was my pleasure.
Have you guys run into any problems with it on the way here, or has everything been smooth sailing?
Everything's been smooth. There's always little things. We moved it initially 56 miles, and that identified some things that we needed to work on. A lot of the lubricator lines we left. They looked like they were in good shape. As soon as we got moving around, they began to crack, and the ones that were really too deteriorated that you couldn't tell through visual inspection because you couldn't get to them, we were able to identify the points where they were leaking, and then we replaced those. And that was the reason we had that delay down at Colton. Give us time to fix a lot of those little issues and also plan for some better weather.
I think the engineers don't really have that big of a job. I mean, what do they do really? The train's on rails. There's no one steering it. I mean, they've got it made.
Oh, the conductor was the most important guy, captain of the ship.
Yeah, so, I mean, engineers, they're just overrated, I think. I could be wrong.
No. I won't badmouth an engineer.
And now they got it made with no, I talked to one. He said they have computers and stuff. They don't even have to drive it. They, just watch the computer.
Well, it was a lot more technical then. You try to drive one of these guys with a computer.
Yeah, right? Trying to turn the valves and
you got to watch all the gauges, and you got to have the throttle at the right position. You got to don't start it up too fast or you'll spin your wheels.
Artie, I am here with
Amy Wicks.
And Amy, what was the reason for coming down today?
To see a big train.
A great big train that doesn't run.
Yes.
Yet.
Yet.
So what do you think of it? Is it all you thought it would be, or?
I don't know what I was expecting, so it's everything I expected and more, I guess.
It made all your dreams come true.
It did.
All right, so the question of the day I have is, have you ever ridden on a train?
Yes.
And what train might that have been?
I've been on a couple trains, actually. I've been on trains in Europe. I've been on trains here.
Alrighty, I am here with
Norm Nelson.
And Norm, can you tell me a little bit about why you come down here today?
I'm the president of the Golden Spike Association, where the trains came together in 1869 at Promontory. And I come down to see this engine because I saw it run when I was a kid.
Oh, really? So you seen it going then?
I actually saw this run when I was a kid in Weber Canyon.
Oh, wow, that's pretty cool. So how much different does it look, other than probably needing some paint and not running? How did it look when you were a kid? How much different? Do you remember?
Same thing, only there was a lot of smoke come out of the top of that thing, and it run Weber Canyon, and I used to live at Devil's Slide. My dad worked at the cement plant, so we was always up there playing around, and when they would come up the canyon, you'd see the big plume of smoke as it come through the tunnel down by Taggart's, and you'd run out by the rail to watch it.
Back in the days of this, it was a real job.
Oh, it was a great job, yeah. They had to, well, it's almost like they had to feel it like a living person because a steam engine breathes.
Almost it would be, huh?
They had to feel its pressure and feel its momentum, and it was a real skillful job.
For sure, for sure. Alrighty, well, hey, I appreciate your time. Thank you for talking with me.
You bet.
Union Pacific has a safety program where they get people on a train, and they basically give you a speech on train safety, and they invite elected officials to do that. So I got to ride out on the causeway out to Lakeside a couple years ago, and then I took my mom, who's here today, with me last fall. We rode up to just past the mouth of Spanish Fort Canyon on a train.
Okay, ready? Alrighty, I am here with
Chris Gaelic.
And Chris, can you tell me a little bit about why you come down here today?
I came down here to be able to check out the 844, or Big Boy, which is the 884 4000 class.
So what does that mean, 4000 class?
4000 class is the road number designated for the locomotive. Like the 844, it'd be the 800 class because it's in the 800 series of road numbers.
So you know quite a little bit about these trains then?
I'm a bit of a rail fan.
So are you excited to see them restore it and get it back on the road, rail, whatever they run on?
Well, it is a railroad.
Hey, both. It's a compound word.
Exactly.
Even when it was still a regular happening, it was still exciting to see it come run through.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, to see this come in today brought back a lot of memories.
I bet. So the question of the day is, did it run on leaded or unleaded?
It didn't run on either one. It bypassed it.
It didn't need that, huh?
Oh, this run on coal.
So it was a fossil fuel still, essentially.
Right. Yeah, it was run on slag coal, yeah. The dinosaurs, what they left behind, this was running on.
Oh, well, thank goodness for dinosaurs.
No problem.
Alrighty, thank you. I appreciate your time.
Appreciate you.
Alrighty, I am here with
Robert Weber and Yvonne Weber from Roy.
Can you guys tell me a little bit about why you came down here today?
Main reason is I was raised in Cheyenne, Wyoming, and the Big Boy was in Cheyenne. And when I was a kid, we went down by the tracks and watched the trains all the time.
So did you ever, I mean, this is a long time ago, so you won't be in trouble, of course, but did you ever jump on the train and take a ride?
No, never did.
Never?
My neighbor was an engineer on one of these trains in Cheyenne, so that's why I'm here.
The original question asked was, will a Big Boy ever pull a train again? And it seemed highly unlikely considering its size and its maintenance cost and the cost of actually being able to operate a locomotive so big that it wouldn't be able to pull a train again. But Challenger 3985 had been successfully restored, and it's not that much different than a Big Boy.
Yeah, they had that down here, 2 years ago, and that's quite a sight to see the steam engines run.
Yeah, Challenger's actually been down in Cheyenne for quite a few years now, undergoing restoration. The one we're thinking of is the 844 non-articulated class.
You're kind of a train veteran.
And I ride front runner all the time too, so yeah, I'm on a train
Where did you ride on a train in Europe? And I mean, were you just hitchhiking through Europe and got tired and jumped on a train, or?
I wasn't hitchhiking. I've ridden the train in Germany and Switzerland and France too. So.
Right on. Alrighty.
It's the way to travel there.
Alrighty. Well, I appreciate your time. Thank you for talking with me.
Thank you.
What do you think? How much different does it look than what you remember?
Well, I was pretty young. They was about coming by every day, so they was just a regular thing to see a train.
Yeah, everybody's like, here it comes again.
And especially during the war, they had the troop trains coming through and all that. And us kids used to run down the tracks and watch these big ones come in and out.
I bet. Would they shake the ground and stuff as they went by?
Oh, yeah, they'd shake the ground. They were pretty big. And we had a lot of neighbors that worked on these trains. They worked for the UP Railroad at that time.
Oh, because there was the base was in Cheyenne?
Yeah, it was the main base in Cheyenne. That's where they rebuilt them and maintained them there in Cheyenne.
Question in for you. Question of the day is, what do these run on, regular or unleaded?
Recycled engine oil.
Is that what it is? So they go to Tunex and get oil.
Actually, they pull the oil directly from the diesel locomotives that they service at their main shops.
Oh, really? So they're just recycling all the way around?
Yep. So they don't actually send anything off to a facility for recycling. They recycle it right back into their own steam program.
Very good. All right. I appreciate your time. Thank you for talking with me. I have a question of the day for both of you. So either one of you jump in anytime and answer if you'd like. But what do you think they run on, unleaded or regular?
Probably a hell of a lot of coal.
You think it goes through about a pound an hour or so?
A pound an hour, yeah.
Alrighty, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Alrighty, folks, that's going to do it for me down here at Union Station. It was quite a sight. This train's huge. Hopefully, we come back in a couple years when it's done and we can look at it again. Alrighty, question of the day. Roberta, have you ever ridden on a train?
Why, yes, I have.
And just a front runner, or have you ridden on a real train?
I've ridden on a real train.
At the risk of insulting you, did you ride this train when it was new?
No, but I'm not insulted because I probably saw this train when it was in Green River, Wyoming.
I wouldn't have guessed you for being no more than 27 years old, Roberta.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Well, thank you for answering my question of the day.
You're very welcome.